The final stretch is here and now for the Highline Racing League, as only 2 races remain until season 19 comes to a close. And this, of course, is the first of which. Welcome back to the intermediate style of racing we've drawn dearly to our hearts in this field. This is the Westlake Royal Building Products Premier Series, and for race number 13 of the season 19 calendar, this is the Texas Motor Speedway. The mile-and-a-half circuit in Fort Worth, Texas will play host tonight to 125 racing laps for our 20 registered drivers. I'll be your host for tonight's event. I'm David Troitz, commentating and producing. Continuing our doubleheader on this Thursday night is the Iorta Cup Series, just wrapped up from Watkins Glen. It was eventual winner Aiden Walker in that race for those who did not tune in, but we're back again with the Gen 6 stock cars here in Texas. Currently, Tyler Hampton has himself at the top of the board. Alan Kunman will then be just behind him in P2. And 13 drivers of the 20 have taken time so far, each driver allotted 2 laps in this 5-minute session. So not a lot of time to put one on the board, but one of the smaller circuits, of course, oval-wise, compared to where we've gone as of recent. We visited the Superspeedways. We went to the iRacing Superspeedway, in fact, a 3-miler. This is half that length. Back down to the 1.5 mile, where every qualifying lap so far, except for one, has been under 30 seconds. Scott Zellner gets up to the top of the board. Zellner is within 31 points of championship leader Lucas Lodato. He's been clawing into that gap, and if he has another great race today and goes for his 23rd career win, he might be able to have a shot at the championship next week. Lodato has been open and shut so far this season on the entire field with 4 wins, but now Zellner has 3, and he could match it tonight. Adam Bozzi gets up to P1. His quick time, 15 thousandths better than that of Zellner's. A 29.533, the fast time, as now we wait on DJ Stagner and Jason Harris. Sean Billman is going to slide across the line, and it looks like his qualifying run is concluded. Dylan Poteet, fresh after 300 miles with the Integrity Racing League, making his debut in the Ignite Series, has returned again to his regular Thursday night campaign. Right now, Poteet is 10th in the championship standings, and he goes quicker that time by to get up to P8 on the qualifying grid. So now Harris and DJ Stagner, the only drivers who have not gone on track. And it looks like DJ Stagner just connected. There's nobody on the circuit, in fact, with 50 seconds remaining, which means that our qualifying lineup has been effectively decided. Quickest speed for any one driver would also be held by Adam Bozzi. That fast lap coming in at 177.993 miles an hour. So just under 178 on the dot. And the majority of the field within 1 mile an hour of that tally goes to show how close this pack is from beginning to end. Of all your drivers who took a qualifying time, they're within 1 second of your leader, Adam Bozzi. Time ticking, and qualifying has concluded. The pole sitter is your number 27, Adam Bozzi, and it's official. Bozzi collects the pole position with a fast time, 15 1,000ths quicker than the next closest driver, and Adam gets himself up to the top of the board, and he's no stranger to victory lane, still looking for his first shot this season. 125 laps away. Your pole sitter in the White Castle 27, inside of the front row. Let's get to know the entire field from top to bottom in the meantime. Adam Bozzi qualifies first, and alongside him is the winningest ever driver in the Highline Racing League. That, of course, is Scott Zellner. Tyler Hampton, he goes P3. 4th place is Dawson Buchanan, and 5th is Alan Kunman. Ryan Potter goes P6. Scott Wheeler is 7th, and Dylan Poteet then will be the 8th place, with your final drivers in the top 10 being Lucas Lodato, championship leader by 31 points, And of course, you'll have Chad Winstead. 11th on down goes as follows. You'll have Matthew Rodriguez, P11, Terry Brooks in 12th, Sean Billman 13th, and then Jim Font, P14. 15th place, Caleb Morrissey. 16th is Joshua Sim. Matt Muir, Jacob Haub, and Sebastian Miller go down to 19th as DJ Stagner and Jason Harris are the final drivers registered to start today. 19 drivers took a qualifying time, 21 officially registered. The only one at the top of the board is the man you're looking at right now, Adam Bozzi. Bozzi takes P1, and we're about to get things started here from, of course, the virtual Texas Motor Speedway. Perhaps the most exciting show of the season, of course, with intermediates in mind. Championship comes down to this. It is a make or break night for Lodato or Scott Zellner. Zellner, that number 2 in particular, has to perform. You look at him here, and he has been closing the gap on Lucas Lodato race after race with victories that were unimaginable even a few weeks prior. He has 3 now on the season. He is the winningest driver outright, and that means that he can only extend his records from this point. I think that's going to be the end goal for Zellner tonight, to win again and have Adam Bozzi right around him, playing defense with some of these guys who are not championship contenders. Track conditions, by all means, are going to be mild tonight. Nothing much that should be a concern, except for maybe that track temperature. Coming in at 114 degrees Fahrenheit. The ambient temp is only 79 degrees. Relative humidity, though, will be high. It's going to come through for about 61%, almost 62%. And so, as a result, you might see a little bit of that track warm-up play into an issue for drivers' control and handling of their automobiles. They'll come down the back straight and they'll go green next time by. Harris on track, DJ Stagner is not. So it looks like Jason will be the final of the 20 drivers on this rolling grid, at to be determined about DJ Stagner. Ozzy will take him green, and then from there, strategy racing could be as simple as one pit stop. 4 tire sets are available. 125 laps, easy to split down the middle, with about a 63 lap run being the magic number. Very realistic tonight. It could happen. 1 to green this time by. It's going to be a long haul from here. Tyler Hampton goes 3rd. Dawson Buchanan goes 4th. Hampton still looking for his first win. He and Hoosier Buckeye Racing, who have been remarkably strong in the last few races, just not able to get the job done and get a podium just yet. Looking for the top step of the podium. That's the end goal. Jim Font, of course, showing out well in our dirt race just 2 weeks ago. And now he finds himself in the back half of the field. Most of these drivers within 1 second of each other pace-wise. We're going to get at it now. The iRacing official pace car will duck low, and Adam Bozzi will take control. For Scott Zellner, it's a do-or-die race as to whether or not he's got the stuff to win this championship. For Lucas Lodato, if he stays inside the top 10, it's all but a wrap. Green flags out, Adam Bozzi and DJ Stagner further behind. But it'll be Scott Zellner on the outside as the 27 brings the field to green. Welcome back to Fort Worth, Texas. We're underway for the Texas Motor Speedway. Up on the high side, a little bit of a wiggle there for the number 4 car. He's going to have to back off. Adam Bozzi, very clearly your race leader. He's got himself a car length into 1. Now, the old Texas Motor Speedway performs differently when it comes to how the track package is set up compared to the new scan of the Texas Motor Speedway on iRacing. It's a lot more traditional to how most of those intermediate circuits have come to run over the years, such as Charlotte or Kansas. New Texas Motor Speedway has itself a different set of lines, largely due to the PJ1 applied on the track, and also because of some reconfigurations to the circuit. So, while Texas Motor Speedway by no means has made itself a fan favorite over the years, this older configuration on iRacing has been given warmer receptions than the modern iteration. Down there to the inside, and he'll take the race lead. And immediately you'll see that breakout for side-by-side racing in the top 5. Dawson Buchanan now getting low on Alan Kunman. And the number 8 Flow Racing Machine, getting himself up on the higher side of the circuit. The former champ has now made his way for a part-time schedule so far. Alan Kunman has found victory lane, but it hasn't been all about going for the title this season for the number 8 car. 27th place in the championship standings. That means that whatever happens tonight, he is far out of the title race. The only end goal, to come out here, get himself a win. So, staying just behind title leader Lucas Lodato, he's in a good spot. Tyler Hampton, high on Dawson Buchanan. The number 2, Scott Zellner, holding his own, coming to lap number 6. The media jump off the line for Adam Bozzi was counteracted by just waiting to see whether or not Bozzi would push it too hard. And it looks like prematurely, Adam gave way and gave up the lead. Little bit of contact there. Oh, Buchanan, does he save it? No, he does not. Collects Lucas Lodato. Big wreck, yellows out. And your championship leader caught up early. Take a look at this. And Lodato was just behind as Buchanan, contact with Scott Wheeler, wiggles once, twice, collects the 7, goes up the track. Scott Wheeler slides as well. Potter into teammate Lodato. Seb Miller goes low. Terry Brooks drifts. And Lucas Lodato, catching some of the worst of it, falls to the end of the lineup. With a title on the line, losing position and accruing damage like that could be detrimental. Multi-car incident involving Lucas Lodato, Terry Brooks, Scott Wheeler, Ryan Potter in the number 99. And, of course, you saw it there. He'll come down to pit road. So a good portion of that field involved in the caution will come in. Matt Muir, Sean Billman, Seb Miller, Scott Wheeler, all of which in sequence. It'll be Scott Zellner holding fort, and restart expected at about lap 10. Tyler Hampton takes 3rd place here. The biggest mover inside the top 10 is a gain now of 9. That's going to be Jim Fott. Fott getting right behind his teammate. He might line up exactly behind him on this restart. Sits 5th. Matthew Rodriguez is up 5. 11th to 6th. Chad Winstead 10th to 7th. 16th to 9th for Joshua Sim. 15th to 10th for Caleb Morrissey. The back half of the field very much shuffled as Wheeler, Buchanan, and Lodato, all top 10 qualifiers, now find themselves very far out here. Lodato gets on the way in the bottom. He should be able to catch up to the group as we are now 1 lap to green Lap 10 will go at it. An early yellow flag involving some of your front runners, and hopefully that is not indicative of the rest of this race. Not a lot of cars on the circuit tonight, so hopefully we don't lose all too many of them. Zellner will have control on the launch. And we'll get to business from here. Tyler Hampton has his teammate for Hoosier Buckeye Racing just behind him. He'll have the team affair working together. We'll see what happens next. Double file. Scott Zellner gets the ball rolling. The outside groove cannot hold a candle. Tyler Hampton takes second. Bozzi drops back. Scott to the race lead as they come through turns 1 and 2. Double file a little bit further behind. Jason Harris there. Caleb Morrissey taking a 3 on the bottom. One driver gives. That's Joshua Sim. Now, so early into our racing, and you saw most drivers deciding not to go down a pit road. Caleb Morrissey, one of those who is an exception. Once again, his end goal is to be slightly different on that tire call, which means he can push a little bit harder right now, still get himself up with the cycle when everyone comes down to pit road under green. Rodriguez blocking down to the bottom of the circuit. Nothing more that Caleb Morrissey can do. Caleb, the number 6, goes side by side with Sim, then to drop back to Dylan Poteet. And now Scott Zellner is going to be alone up there. Tyler Hampton, while chasing, has not been able to go side by side. You'll see Jim Fott taking it to P4, up 10 now on the day. Watch out, Matthew Rodriguez now ahead of Jim, of course, Joshua Sim and Dylan Poteet. Caleb Morrissey pushed harder than an instantaneous start, but it looks like he's dropping back ever so slightly. Down to 11. Tire pack still together here. DJ Stagner 8 laps down as it stands, but your 21st starter did indeed get on the racetrack. Right now, he's going to get himself right up in the mix while he's in the back of the pack, but he is 8 laps down, and he'll need a load of cautions to have even a chance up in front. Unfortunate for Stagner. Yes, contact up the track. Jacob Hamm into DJ Stagner. Yellow flag is out. And we'll rewind the lap. Jacob Hamm involved with the 64 of Stagner. And a quick second caution will fly. Taking a look at how it all unfolded. DJ was further behind and trying to make a move, going through turns 3 and 4. He surges up to the top, and it looks like just too little room for everyone. Brooks into Hamm, into Stagner. The 64 and 44 are the ones that get collected in the wreckage. Hamm goes spinning. With the caution out, for the second time today in only 14 laps, it is going to be Scott Zellner leading. Zellner advantageous. Will go green at about lap 17 to get a very quick caution period. Zellner holds fort. So far, he's led the majority of this instantaneous run, 12 laps of 15, but there's a long road ahead for each and every driver. Now, track conditions are not expected to change all too much. It's going to be daylight all throughout. The track temp has gone down a little bit, down to 113 miles an hour, with winds southeast bound now at 20 miles an hour, so that's pretty harsh. All things considered, seeing some slight control issues in the back. But this one maybe could have been avoided if no contact between Brooks and those around him. Jacob Halm, that it ended up starting that chain reaction. Terry Brooks getting lucky that his door-to-door contact didn't sweep him up. Jacob Halm is now getting off pit road. Mangled back end. EJ Stagner, 8 laps down, is just going to continue on regardless. EJ drops back. Scott Zellner assumes position. Restart 2 is coming right your way. Matthew Rodriguez gets himself up to the 4th spot now. He takes it high side on the 2nd row. Matthew started at 11th, just outside the top 10. And it looks like, for the first time in a while here, he's gotten himself up just within the top 5. We'll see what Matthew can do with this position as we're ready to go. Adam Bozzi on the outside was able to reclaim 2nd, but didn't get a great jump on that opening run. Looks like now he's going to be able to do a little bit better, but Alan Kunman stays with Scott Zellner. We're back on the move again for restart number 2. Scott Zellner stays just ahead of Alan Kunman. Defense is going to be critical tonight, and you see it again for Alan Kunman here. Tries to get up to Zellner, can't force the move. Now he's going to face the pressure as he has to go on defense. Adam Bozzi drives in. Going to be double file for the rest of the top 10. Matt Muir, Dylan Poteet, Caleb Morrissey. Morrissey tries to go 3 there, but just couldn't find the room. And you're starting to see what happens now as everyone comes together. Scott Zellner again gets that single file outlet. He's been able to get away on every run so far. But the mid-pack has continued to jockey. Guy Winstead low on Adam Bozzi here for 3rd. Caleb Morrissey, middle of 3 through 1 and 2. Caleb now goes all the way down to the bottom to pass Joshua Sim. And a very risky call, but it will give Morrissey, at least for now, a position. Although turns 3 and 4 don't quite work out as well, and he will drop back, still in 9th. Defense is going to be everything for these drivers who are up in front. And it seems like already multiple grooves working for the field. Not only the dead bottom, but instead that middle lane. And that's what Tyler Hampton's going to use to power around the outside and take the best position. Clean air, race lead. Tyler Hampton's got it. Hampton takes hold. Zellner for 2nd. Alan Kunman now in 3rd. And Tyler jetting away. He would have put up a half second in only about a lap and a half. Adam Bozzi now 4th, and he is being fought vigorously for those spots. Jim Fott goes high. Takes one from him. Now he wants to move further up the top 5 himself. Jim goes side by side with Alan Kunman and drops to the inside. And now Fott is going to be chasing after his teammate who's up and ahead. Jim has gained 10 on the day, 14th to 4th, and is again the biggest mover in the field. Joshua Sim has come close so far from 16th to 9th. He's put up 7 spots in these opening laps. Sim is going to keep Jacob Haum at bay. Although Haum was involved in the previous incident, it looks like he's already gotten himself in the top 10. He'll duck low, and you'll see there Dawson Buchanan fanning them out. Buchanan with trouble, as it was for Jim Faw. Take the lap back, and you'll see what happened. These two drivers were fighting inside the top 5 at the time of incident. Matter of fact, this was for second. Fought, got in the wall, saved it, off contact from Buchanan, and both are going to have to back down. Jim Fott is now in 20th and on pit road. All the while, his teammate will come by, put him a lap down. Just a very, very tricky moment there as the Valvoline machine gets by. Tyler Hampton is now alone up in front. Next closest driver is Scott Zellner. And mind you, Zellner right now is in second. Lucas Lodato is in 19th. And these drivers are only 31 points apart in the championship. A bad night for Lodato could spell doom for his championship hopes. After dominating the first part of this season and collecting 4 wins, it looks like that 5th one has become, all of a sudden, quite elusive. Hampton will be now up and ahead by his lonesome. The mid-pack fight persists. Terry Brooks coming up on Jacob Haum. Haum, it looks like even with that contact, has not been stopped. You can see the back end is still somewhat mangled, but he is up 8 places. And most particularly, the right rear quarter panel has gotten away from it unscathed, but the left rear is where the problems lie. Matthew Rodriguez ahead of both Brooks and Haum, but Terry with the high side surgeons might be able to get both spots in one lap. Terry Brooks for his 2nd straight pass. He'll try it around the high side. Turn 3 looks good. Turn 4 almost at the line. He won't have the advantage though. It's still going to be just slightly Matthew Rodriguez. Alan Kunman getting up in the mix here. The fight for 2nd place. Dawson Buchanan holds P2. Then you'll have Kunman, Zellner, Winstead. Dawson, even in spite of being involved in that previous incident, is still holding himself well. And the right rear damage he's accumulated has not at all stopped his pace. In fact, it looks like he's only recovered to be even better, and he's now starting to drive away. You take a look from the backside of the number 4, they'll tell you the same story. While they're double file behind him, Dawson Buchanan has gotten away. And it looks like he might be the only driver right now who can directly contend against Tyler Hampton if only he can make up the 4-second distance that already exists. And it looks like for Tyler Hampton, getting as far as he has not only been a matter of pushing more than anyone else, but also just having the skills to refine his lap time after time. Track and tire wear will be significant today. However, if you look at the numbers, Hampton has not fallen off compared to almost anyone else. And in fact, if you look at the numbers, Tyler Hampton here, lap 20, his best lap. Right now, he looks to be about a second slower per the 31.4 range consistently. Dawson Buchanan has been running in the 31.6 range. So that is a loss of some 0.2 of a second each time by. Dawson nowhere near where he would need to be to gain, but it looks like he's going to be able to hold on to second rather comfortably. Adam Bozzi to the inside. He'll take it low on Alan Kunman. Neither of these drivers have been able to check out. In fact, this entire field is still rather tight to itself. Bozzi goes low. The 51 of Sim is up top again. From second all the way down to 17th, the gap through the field is only 4 seconds. First to second is a 5-second deficit at the line. To be clear, Tyler Hampton is that far ahead, where the gap between he and second is longer than the gap between second and 17th. Just ridiculously dominant so far. 5 seconds at the line. That's been the gap. Now, past 2 laps in a row. Scott Zellner going at it with a manufacturer teammate in Chad Winstead, and Chad now has the edge. Chad will take P7 off of that one. Scott Zellner tries to fight back and digging it into the inside groove. He's got a shot, but it doesn't look like it's going to stick. Winstead instead stays ahead. The difference in pace is negligible between most of these drivers. And that's what makes it more of a challenge to go for passes, as Bozzi goes again on Joshua Sim. The difference-making move would have to be tonight pit stop strategy. And that's something that comes in mind for road course races often. But additionally, when you take a look at what goes on at the ovals, when we get these long green flag runs, oftentimes the best drivers are very close to each other in terms of pace. And currently, that is exactly what we are seeing. Bozzi's going to go high again. Now he's going to be facing that contest from the inside groove with Chad Winstead. Jacob Hamm slams the wall big time, though. The 44 now far out of control. And you could see he was in the wall coming across the line. And it looks like Jacob now is destroyed. He's going to have to back it down to pit road. Right front suspension is effectively gone. And a torn apart Chevrolet, Jacob Hamm might just be the first retiree of the night. And I don't think there's any way he's going to continue on with that car. He's about half a track ahead of the leaders, but very soon he will be caught up to. So for Hamm, the move is simple. With a lot of damage, he heads into pit road immediately. Tyler Hampton continues leading 38 laps in out of 125 with no contest. Lucas Logano 1 lap down in 19th. All the while, his championship rival remains up in the fight, now in 7th. Now, it isn't a particularly outstanding performance yet from Scott Zellner, but it is exactly what it needs to be. And that, of course, is a solid night. Just to stay on the lead lap, collect a top 10, that compared to anything else is of most importance. I think for Scott Zellner right now, he understands that is the case. As he goes toe-to-toe with Adam Bozzi again, he is far and ahead of Lucas Logano, and it would take a critical mistake to set him back that distance. So he's going to be able to go at it for as long as he needs to, Scott Zellner anyway, and stay ahead of Lucas Logano. Logano would be the lucky dog. However, that comes down between he and Jacob Hamm. And Hamm is going to go another lap down. Lucas has damage, has to get out of the way. Even if Scott Zellner were hypothetically to fall 1 lap down, he does not have the damage that Logano has. And you can see here, Scott is easily going to be able to come around with other lead lappers on the 7 of Lucas. Lappers are not going to play a critical role today. Not in the race anyhow, but certainly when it comes to championship points, as Terry Brooks just went through the grass. Terry from P5 just dove through. Take a look. And he had to go under after a loose exit off 4. Now, Terry finds himself 6th, but he hasn't lost all too much. Brooks having a strong race so far. Now behind Chad Winstead and still eyeing that first victory. Terry right now is 16th in the championship with 2-5 and 3 top 10 finishes. So he's gone to the top 5 twice and the top 10 3. Got some solid runs, definitely some above average performances so far, but has not been able to string them up consistently. And that is the difference between a Brooks driver or someone a little bit further up ahead of him. Now for Terry, this has the potential to be his 3rd top 5 of the season and his 4th top 10 respectively. This remains to be seen as to whether or not he can get up to Chad Winstead, who just passed him after his fumble. Dawson Buchanan stays 2nd, 5 seconds out from Tyler Hampton, and so far Tyler has been out in his own world, fully checked out, and he doesn't have to concern himself with anything behind him. "45 laps in out of 125. We are a majority of the way through what is expected to be our first pit stops of the day. Now, the first pit stop cycle will be at about lap number 60, 65 for these drivers. The expectation is we are going to split this race into 2. The first of which, the first half anyway, that's going to be the first 60 laps. Most drivers didn't go down to pit road. We were under yellow, so they're still on that same strategy. Then they have the potential to go the rest of the distance if they would like. Now, by all accounts, it looks like that is what is going to happen. Number 8 of Alan Kunman, 3rd place, part-timer, keeping some of these great regulars at bay. And Alan doing a perfect job of just getting back in the seat and giving it a great performance. Even if he hasn't raced all season long, this really is not much of a surprise for Kunman. Multi-time race winner over the years and a champion at that. To come out to a track that he wanted to race, well, he's done a great job at it. And the desire to get inside the cockpit really helping out, as so far Allen has been keeping everyone honest. A little bit further behind, Seb Miller and Scott Wheeler. Wheeler around the outside, and that's going to be a lapper in Scott Wheeler anyhow. But as you might have noticed, he's looking a little bit quicker than most others. And that's because Wheeler has gone down to pit road early. Now the majority of the field has decided not to. However, it looks like this time by, Dawson Buchanan keeps going. Buchanan went down to pit road under caution, and that's why he has 1 pit stop on his pit stop counter. Most drivers out front, however, in the top 10, have not gone down or in at all. Interesting to see the old tires are hanging out pretty well, although now you'll see it's going to be Alan Kunman to the inside for the race lead. All the while, Tyler Hampton's coming down to pit road after about 49 laps, which might indicate the presence of a 2-stop strategy being preferable. More comfortable, and it looks like now at Hampton going for it, we're going to see a lot more drivers decide indeed to go in earlier so they don't have to risk it when it comes to those numbers. Perhaps the right decision is to play it safe after all. Alan Kunman takes the race lead, and now he's gotten it ahead of just about every other driver. Dawson Buchanan comes to pit road. 4 tires and fuel for every driver involved. Dawson Buchanan being one of the first of which. So the stint runs tonight might be under 50 laps as opposed to initial expectations of being able to go over 50. Alan Kunman is now coming in. Lap 50 coming to 51. Joshua Sims got the race lead for the first time. It is now the 51 car, only to be passed by Chad Winstead. Winstead goes low, and as soon as Joshua Sim got the lead, it's been taken. Chad Winstead will lead for the first time tonight. "51 laps in out of 125, Joshua Sim does not back down. All the while, Scott Zellner is back on the way. Meanwhile, Tyler Hampton, currently sitting 1 lap down, also still racing. Watch out now to see who's got it. Hampton's end goal is to take this new rubber and put it back up to the front of the field, but it's going to take a while. And when you get in that green flag style of strategy, it might even take the full run for things to shake out well. Hampton gets by Kunman. Chad Winstead still blocking Joshua Sim. And now, multiple laps led for the 60. Chad with 2, Joshua with just 1. Some of the final holdouts, with Matthew Rodriguez there as well. And as soon as these drivers concede up in front, we'll see who's really leading this one. Pit stint time will show you how long the drivers have been on their runs respectively, and it looks like based on those with new tires, Scott Zellner is leading over the rest of the field. All 8 drivers ahead of Zellner have not gone in on this stint. Joshua Sim, with 54 laps on his run, the original set of tire, is getting closer to stretching it for the one-stopper. Buchanan goes low. Winstead fades out. It's going to be 3 wide. Tyler Hampton, Alan Kunman, and Chad Winstead. Still no sign of concession. Joshua Sim remains. And while it appears a lot of your leading drivers have decided to go for the tires as a strategy call, holding out for maximum track position is still possible. And that's what's kept Sim out there, even though a majority of his peers have decided to concede. Coming through turns 3 and 4, Joshua Sim still there. He's running remarkably slower laps, yes, but those extra seconds saved could be the difference between a full pit stop or getting the edge over every other driver. Lap 56 now, the official halfway point going to be about 62.5. So between lap 62 and 63 is really that golden number if anyone really wants to attempt a one-stop strategy. And Sim is getting closer. For lap number 57, Joshua Sim stays leader. Meanwhile, on new tires, Scott Zellner runs alone in 8th as the overall leader of the new strategy. Once everyone in front of him heads down to pit road, he will reassume the race lead. Still not a guarantee as to when that will happen, because for lap number 58, Joshua Sim comes around again. Take a listen inside and maybe you'll hear that he is saving to the extreme, shall we say, as we hear what's going on. And even though most others around him decide to head to pit road, it looks like Joshua Sim is still pushing. Not at all hearing any clutch or coast, which means that he still has enough in the tank to give it a few more laps. Coming close now to lap number 60. Chad Winstead is second now, about 1 3/10 back, letting Joshua Sim go at it full on. Matthew Rodriguez is 11th to 3rd. Now he'll go in at the end of a 59-lap run for the 0-1 car. Close, but just not enough to really fulfill the one-stopper. Joshua Sim down the back straightaway, still not given signal. Rodriguez, the last driver to do so. Matthew, however, slowing down to 148 miles an hour but not going any lower, remains on track for lap 61. Scott Zellner moves up to 6th, only 5 holdouts ahead of him. Sebastian Miller and Adam Bozzi, Jason Harris, Chad Winstead, and Joshua Sim. These are the drivers who are looking to stretch it for a one-stop race at Muir to the inside on Joshua Sim. And with Sim staying out this time by, it appears official. He will indeed be able to go the distance on his strategy call. So Joshua Sim leads the one-stop drivers. Scott Zellner leads the two-stoppers. Zellner is going to reassume the race lead whenever Joshua comes down to pit road. Joshua and company who are still holding out. And he still keeps going. Caleb Morrissey back on the way. Matthew Rodriguez just got out. Seb Miller stays on track, as does Jason Harris and Chad Winstead. It looks like those who remain on the circuit are remarkably confident with what they have going on. 63 laps to go. Here's your top 10 as follows. Joshua Sim, 16th up to 1st, leads Chad Winstead 10th to 2nd. Jason Harris is the biggest mover of all those in the top 10 right now, from 21st up to 3rd, and your final holdout driver will be Sebastian Miller, 19th to P4. Scott Zellner leads drivers in the two-stop strategy. That is 2nd to 5th, with Dawson Buchanan 4th to 6th. Scott Wheeler, 7th flat, 8th is Alan Cummin, 9th is Dylan Poteet, and Terry Brooks concludes the top 10. If you've enjoyed tonight's coverage so far, make sure to check out iRacing.com after tonight's broadcast. iRacing, leading sim racing action for more than 17 years with the world's most accurate virtual simulation. Not only of stock car action, but any racing discipline throughout the years, iRacing has you covered. Stay tuned for the remainder of this race, as we're now halfway down with the most important half to come. We'll return right after the following message from our friends at iRacing.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
59 laps remaining, and Joshua Sim has taken it 67 laps into his run with no stopping. He and Jason Harris ride alone and now extending this run as long as they can. Now, for Joshua Sim and Jason Harris alike, this could play in one additional advantage, because it means they can run a lot harder on the next run, rather than concerning themselves with having to go a little bit more conservative and having to split exactly in the middle. Run this run out, no pun intended, and you'll be able to succeed to a higher degree next time. Jason Harris now goes into pit road, and it's going to be 21st down to the bottom of the mid-teens. Harris goes in from P2. Joshua Sim might be aiming now for more than 70 laps as he comes across the line for lap number 69. Still no sign of when he's going to come in or if he's got plans to do so immediately. By this point, Joshua has shown that he has a strategy that could take him to the end of the race. He just needs to get that one pit stop over with. No way for a driver to make it to the checkered flag without one, of course. So whenever it's made, It'll be the final piece of the strategy puzzle tonight. Scott Wheeler with Dylan Poteet. This would be the battle for about 4th overall. Wheeler, 7th to 5th. Poteet, 8th to 6th. They qualified with each other, and it looks like they're still racing right alongside. Take a look aboard briefly with Dylan Poteet, and you'll see what it's like watching this battle, not from afar, but watching it just above the cockpit view. Sliding to the inside is Adam Bozzi, the lapper with new rubber, and he's going to shake up Wheeler. Going to compromise his line, and so now Dylan Poteet has the run. And you can see here, turns 1 and 2 going to be filled with drivers going by. These two are no different. Poteet so far, a day of up and up racing, except for when he went down to pit road. Low of 16th when he went in for a cycle stop. Currently 6th. And that's as high as he's been, but he's up above where he qualified. And that's a big deal. Top 5 looming for either of these two drivers. We'll see who seals the deal when the night ends. Furthermore, you'll have some batters further behind. These battles persist. Terry Brooks and Caleb Morrissey. Caleb right now is going to be 7th place as he just slides by the 23. Caleb with the advantage. Brooks behind him. Doesn't look like he's got the pace, and this is where that tire differential comes into play. Sometimes the driver around you might have the outright advantage just because of when they went to pit road. And it looks like for Caleb's case, that's exactly what he's got going on. You'll see the number 88. That's Jason Harris looking to get his lap back. He'll surge up high. And Scott Zellner is leader again. Now it's Zellner holding for it. He's going to have to deal with Dawson Buchanan. Buchanan was right up on him beforehand as Joshua Sim gets it through for the lead lap, the 51 of Sim. Allen coming to the inside on Buchanan. And even though Dawson was looking to put down some pressure on Scott Zellner, might go the other way around. In fact, it is Alan Kunman now putting the power down. And with him is Adam Bozzi. Bozzi still a lapper, however. We'll see what, of course, happens here for the 8 car, as he still has a shot for win number 2 on the season. Buchanan down the back straightaway holds an edge. You'll watch now, Adam Bozzi goes low. Now, Dawson Buchanan having a very solid sophomore season. So far, Dawson is 9th in the championship picture, so not at all contending with Kunman, but it would be a little bit closer between he and Adam Bozzi. Bozzi is P15 in the title picture and desperately needs a lead lap finish if he wants any outside shot of going to the top 10. Adam low. Scott Zellner, this time around, going to be on the second groove. And that's going to help out big as Adam Bozzi gets ahead. Sebastian Miller, another lapper, does the same, and now the lappers fight, while the leader in Zellner has his own groove cut out. Dawson Buchanan takes to the bottom groove, however, and looks immediately to challenge the lead. A little bit of door banging now for P1. Scott Zellner going to dive as deep as he can down to the bottom groove, comes up once more, puts Buchanan at rest, but he's now going to watch out for both drivers around him. To the inside, there goes Kunman. Middle 3, Lucas Lodato put another lap down. Lucas is in 18th, and his championship rival is leading this race. By all accounts, we are looking at what could be an exactly identical championship fight. in the next coming week. One more race remains immediately after we go at it today. That, of course, will be our season finale. It'll be May 27th at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And it looks like Scott Zellner, with another solid race, even not a win, as he gets passed now by Alan Kunman, might just have a shot at stealing the title from Lucas Lodato. The later season has gone Zellner's way. Lodato had all the momentum built up. Comes down to next week. Stay tuned with us as we decide ourselves who's a champion for season 19. We're only 46 laps away from having that one last race be all we've got. Coming down the backstretch, 2/10 up on Dawson Buchanan. See here, Chad Winstead is now 10th, 19 seconds back. Only 14 drivers on the lead lap, the last of which is Bozzi. Ryan Potter trying to be the next to do it. So far, a little bit too far behind on those leaders, but he could catch up to his teammate. And that, of course, is Lucas Lodato. Potter now has the lucky dog. Lodato is going to be multiple laps down. And it looks like that's going to put an end to his shot at getting back on the lead lap. He's 2 down, and he is not the first driver multiple laps down either. So that's going to be a big issue. Scott Zellner finding himself to pit road. And again, that's going to be his final stop of the day. He committed to a 2-stop strategy, and he decides to come in quick. As Zellner concedes, the rest of the field right now, who are not set to go the distance, have to think about when exactly they choose to come to pit road. This will promote Alan Kunman to the lead. We'll see how much longer he decides to keep it until he makes his move in. Tyler Hampton, more of the same, coming out of 4, stays out. But Kunman making that bold call to stay as a leader while Scott Zellner goes in. Zellner now 1 down as it stands. Coming up on Caleb Morrissey, this is going to be the battle for 14th place. Multi-stop drivers have to keep in mind Joshua Sim is up to 8th. And by the time everyone else goes down to pit road, which is rapidly approaching, Sim will take the race lead back. It looks like by all accounts, that is what is going to happen. Now, we don't quite know whether or not he's got the stuff to go the distance when he takes it back. But it looks like right now Joshua Sim is poised to lead at least once more today. And we don't exactly know when that will be. Distance is tightening up between those leaders on the 2-tire strat and those on the 1-stop strat, shall we say. Sebastian Miller going to be 9th place right now, holding the rookie at Sean Bilton at bay. Adam Bozzi 11th and last of those on the lead lap with 41 laps remaining. Alan Kunman coming up on him. Dylan Poteet getting off of pit road, this time by. Dylan went in from the top 5 and looks like now he's going to be scored 16th. He'll have 41 laps to push. And every driver who comes off of pit road has to know they have to push if they want any shot to make gains. That is the one issue that comes out of how hard these drivers have to go at it. The aggression level is going to spike after the final pit stop for everyone, which might give way to an incident or two, and hopefully it doesn't become an issue. Dawson Buchanan watching leader Kunman, and Tyler Hampton 3 seconds back. The Flow Racing Chevrolet holds the lead now in a pivotal time in this event. How about we take a lap on board now with Alan Kunman and see with driver telemetry how exactly he does it. Doesn't look like he's going to be fuel saving, but this lap will be critical as the all coming next ones will be too. Now, while being the leader, Alan Cummin, of course, has the right of way on track, but you'll notice, in the wall there, he'll be pressured by another lapper, Jason Harris. The difficult part right now for Alan Cummin is that he's the leader, he has the right of way, but he's not going to be the fastest driver because others around him are on different tire calls. Now, it is inevitable that Alan Cummin will head to pit road, but the exact specifics about when he will choose to do so are still unknown to the field. Currently, it all comes down to waiting it out. Alan might try to go the distance to lap 100 and then come down and in. Even that's a risky call. Puts him in the position where he'll have to really fight and push as hard as possible, even to have a chance. Joshua Sim, by the way, up to 6th, watching it all happen. He doesn't have to concern himself with another stop. "36 laps to go. Matt Muir 7th, 19th to 8th for Sebastian Miller. He's made it now up 11 places, the most of anyone in the field. Goes down to 10 as Scott Zellner just got by him. The Miller car has gone halfway throughout this pack, 4th in the championship coming into today. And the 83 car is getting closer and closer, maybe to being an outside contender for 3rd in points. With DJ Stagner in 19th and Miller in 9th, they might find each other right at our throats for the 3rd place fight next week. Watch out, because while the championship race also appears undecided, it might be Swamp Motorsports battling itself for the final spot on the championship podium overall. 35 to go. Scott Wheeler heading to the inside on Sebastian Miller. Cummin still leading. 34 to go. Pit stop is still in the wings. Tyler Hampton is now 3rd. Matthew Rodriguez 4th. Matt Muir opts to go to pit road. As the Muir car gets on the way, Caleb Morrissey going to pass it. He'll cycle out 1 lap down. Now, we have so few drivers on the lead lap just because of how this pit stop strategy has been. Drivers going into their own time, which means they'll be a lap down for a while as holdouts remain up front. Cummin leading Buchanan by 0.2. Still haven't opted in. Joshua Sim, 16th to 6th, is now up 10 on the day as well. And Joshua just has to keep on waiting. If his predictions were correct and that everyone else is going to go down to pit road one more time, the lead should be an automatic inheritance for the 51 car. Nobody else running the strategy as well as Sim is, and he just got up to P5 as Tyler Hampton gets on the way exiting pit road. Tyler Hampton now outside the top 10, and with 32 laps to work it out. Cummin and Buchanan might just be next, based on how they set themselves up. Again, look at that pit stop stint time, and you'll see exactly what's going on. These drivers on different lengths in the top 10 from as little as 10 laps for Dylan Poteet to as many now as 45 for Dawson Buchanan. Every one of these drivers going in at practically a different time from each other, and that means there's no real direct comparison that can be made until they cycle out again for their final pit stops. The lower a pit stop time is, a stint time, shall we say, the most recently they went into pit road. So a driver that you're looking at like Tyler Hampton just went in 2 laps ago, and that's indicated on the left side of your screen. He is now a lap down because of that, yes, but he also has some of the new rubber, some of which that could play pivotal in what's next to come. 29 laps remaining. Alan Cummin still holding forward, and everyone's watching out for when these leaders go through. Matthew Rodriguez getting up to the podium. Highest spot he's running all night long. As low as 15th. Started in 11th. And now up there for 3rd. 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Drivers who started 11th. 10th in Chad Winstead. And 16th in Joshua Sim. In total, these drivers have made up some of the most points and positions of any group in the field. Sim making up 11. Then you have 6 gained by Chad Winstead and 8 by Matthew Rodriguez. So, in total, you got the 11 from the Sim car, and then the other 2 drivers making up a total of 14. That's 25 spots gained by 3 drivers in a 20-car field. Impressive, especially given the caliber of this field. These drivers have been able to make it through and cut up. Tyler Hampton gets by Adam Bozzi, and Bozzi now going to be passed by Alan Cunman. Every driver at a different stage relative to where they put themselves in strategy, and it shows right there. Bozzi, however, not going to be in the best of spots. Now he's 1 lap down, and the leaders, who are on very old rubber, just got him by. So the 27 car might come down with a lackluster performance tonight, and it looks like it's going to be the leaders who get by him quick. 26 laps to go. Cunman and Buchanan no longer actively battling here. They have been running in line for the better part of 10 plus laps. And here you have it. Buchanan to the inside, as is the Blacktop Chevrolet. Pivotal pit stops. That will give Matthew Rodriguez the race lead. Matthew leads for the first time tonight. "25 laps remain, and Rodriguez gets the best spot possible. The race lead, of course. The big question becomes, now, when is Rodriguez going to come through? 24 to go. Coming off a pit road, it's going to be Alan Cunman and Dawson Buchanan together. They'll be outside of the top 10. How long are they going to make it? They got so much time, of course, now spent on pit road that they're going to have to fire back faster. Rodriguez knows this. He and Winstead both have to pit. Joshua Sim will have about 3 seconds over Scott Zellner when the going gets rougher. Both Zellner and Sim should be set up to go the distance with 23 laps remaining. With 22 to go, of course, we're going to crank it up with our friends at Whiplash SimCams. As always, providing high-quality iRacing cameras, some of which free of charge. Visit their Discord server to find trial packs free of any compensation. And, of course, no licensing required. $5 per car and track package. Visit Whiplash SimCams on their social media sites today. 22 laps remain as Matthew Rodriguez leads the way. It's going to be the 0-1 machine looking to hold fort as our final pit stops are still ahead of us. Let's crank it up from the Lone Star State with 22 laps remaining. Matthew Rodriguez has not backed down. He and Chad Winstead maybe trying to stretch it as far as possible, as with 18 to go, coming to only 17, both drivers remain ahead. Winstead now to the inside for the overall race lead. And of course, these are drivers who have to watch out for what's behind them. Not only Joshua Sim, but also Scott Zellner. Zellner is now only a second away from pulling through and taking the race lead. On Joshua Sim anyhow, assuming that both Winstead and Rodriguez come in. 16 laps remaining. 125 laps on the docket today, and we've been smooth sailing for a majority of which. Matthew Rodriguez stays running on the back end of the 60 car. Sim and Zellner are now within 1 second of each other. And what a remarkable win it would be for Scott Zellner, of course. With his back against the wall, he would basically need to win this race to tie up the championship, and it looks like right now on strategy he could do just that. Winstead down the stretch, 3/10 up on Rodriguez, with no signs of fading back or going to pit road now. Lapper Ryan Potter is ahead. Shouldn't play into it at all. Zellner still waiting as he sees Joshua Sim in the distance. Sim gets by the 0-1 of Rodriguez. That's for second. Zellner now has to go through the 0-1 car as well, rather than just the 51. Shouldn't play much of a major issue anyhow for Scott, but we'll see what happens. $13 to go. It's a baker's dozen now to do it. Winstead and Joshua Sim are going to fight for the overall lead. Joshua is now just in head of Scott Zellner. As you can see there, the number 97 of Scott Wheeler far out of the way, as is Matthew Rodriguez. Rodriguez being passed by the 2 car. Chad Winstead stands as the only roadblock in between, with a dozen laps to do it. Watch out now as Joshua Sim looks to take P1. As quick as Joshua Sim has arrived, Scott Zellner is right there as well. 3 drivers within 1/2 a second for the race lead. Sim to the inside. Winstead low. Joshua takes the top spot. But now Scott Zellner comes to play. Scott Zellner down on the inside groove. He's got it almost all the way down to the paint, as a matter of fact. Now caught up as he goes side by side with the Winstead car. Coming to 10 laps to go. And for Joshua Sim, it's a miracle unfolding behind him. Zellner toe-to-toe with Winstead, and that's going to slow him down immensely, getting up to the number 51. Chad stays high, compromises that line, and Zellner only just able to get clear. Can Chad Winstead respond? Looks like he can't. About 4/10 of a second, the difference at its most. Now Joshua Sim is going to have to defend for 9 more complete laps. The single digits have come. This race is about come to a close, but Scott Zellner cannot give up yet. He still finds himself behind, and when it comes to track position and pace, it's still remarkably close. Zellner through 3 and 4. Still watching and waiting. Last time by, the gap was 397 thousandths of a second. He cut that by more than a tenth. It's now just within a quarter second. 8 to go for Joshua Sim. Appears inevitable now. That race lead is going to be hard to keep. Even if Joshua Sim is pushing at 100%, he might be prone to making an error now. His tires are old. As you can see, the pit stint time, 10 laps younger for Zellner. That's all he'll need to really have an advantage here. The difference between 50 laps and 40 laps, it's clearly measurable. That time by a 32.216 and a 2.22. Both drivers now running at Sim's pace. And I wonder now if Scott Zellner's either holding back and waiting to make that last charge, or if he's really gassed himself out. Because he didn't look good out of 4 there. In fact, Joshua Sim had it made. 6 to go. Gap is all of a sudden stagnant after remarkable gains from the Zellner car. Looks like all of a sudden facing a little bit of difficulties. Will these problems be enough to dissuade the 51 team from pushing harder? Or will it be the problems for Zellner that dissuade Sim from going any further? We will see now. 5 laps remaining, but Scott Zellner seems trapped. Zellner still waiting to see if he can get there. The 51 car is just ahead. On older tire, all of a sudden Joshua Sim has not only turned back the clock, but he's pulling away and getting closer to the checkered. 4 laps to go. To this point in the season, Joshua Sim's rookie campaign has been one marred by incidents and misfortune. It started at Daytona, spinning around in what was the first caution of the season. Now, all of a sudden, it looks like he's got a chance to rewrite that history and put himself in a better spot. With 3 to go, Joshua Sim might just add his name to history. Become one of the many to at least have 1 win in the Highline Racing League. And it appears as though he's only about 4 miles away from doing it. A valiant effort from the number 51 team to play the alternate strategy and make the one-stopper work. Zellner's watching, and even if he does not win, a podium today will keep him right in the running for the championship. 2 to go now. Joshua Sim's gamble outlasts them all. Oftentimes, a 2-stop strategy taken by way of being more comfortable, and usually that's the minority call. But tonight, the most of this field, more than 15 drivers in fact, chose to go that route. And it looks like regardless of which, with the white flag flying, it's all about Joshua Sim now. Sim is looking to find himself as a rookie winner and finally erase the legacy of misfortune. Victory lane awaits now for the rookie in the 51. Joshua Sim will come across the stripe, and for the very first time in his Westlake Royal Building Products Premier Series career, he will be a race winner. Sim, with strategy, outlasts the pack and wins from the Texas Motor Speedway. Fending off the all-time winningest driver, Joshua Sim proves that today he was a cut above. And to burn it down for the very first time, here goes your winner. Sim collects victory and brings a night of racing to rest. Now, we only have one night to go for our championship contenders, and it's about as close as it comes. Joshua Sim plays championship spoiler tonight and wins from Texas, but just behind him, second in points, Scott Zellner racks up a critical podium against Lucas Lodato. Then from there, Alan Kunman goes third. Fourth is Tyler Hampton. Dawson Buchanan, he goes fifth. Sixth place is going to be Scott Wheeler with Chad Winstead seventh and Dylan Poteet eighth. Sebastian Miller ninth, and then Matthew Rodriguez for P10. 11th place on the order is Caleb Morrissey with Jason Harrison 12th. Terry Brooks in 13th. Matt Muir in 14th. Brian Potter in 15th. 16th is Sean Billman in 17th. Adam Bozzi, Lucas Lodato, P18, and 19th. DJ Stagner, Jacob Halm, 20th, and Jim Fott, 21st and last. Strategy ended up being the biggest of deals in a one-caution race, one of our cleanest all season long. And for Joshua Sim, the differentiation in strategy was a winning move, outlasting everyone on the longest run of the day and going for more than 70 laps. That turned out to be the stretch that brings you to victory lane for the very first time in your Highline Racing League career, Joshua. What a way to win it.
Yeah, I am in shock. This whole season has been a complete wreck. Constant crashes and stupid mistakes, and I finally did it. I don't know. I guess luck was on my side tonight. It was wild.
And not only does it come down maybe to luck, but we got to talk about the decisions you made on track. Most drivers opting for the two-stop strategy, but it looks clear that we could have seen the one-stopper all the way. What led you to go for the difference?
Well, I obviously was confused when people were pitting early because my car felt great. I wasn't plowing. My right front felt good. So I just kept going until I ran out of fuel, and it worked out.
And, well, you know, the fuel just worked out, but the tire game also different. You had older rubber going against those behind you, including Scott Zellner. How did you manage to save them?
I honestly don't know. Usually, I mean, I don't really run long-distance races, so I'm kind of new to the tire saving thing. Honestly, that's why I'm just so surprised that I outran everybody tonight. It's unbelievable.
A remarkable finish, and of course, your career best now, finally getting to victory lane and at least bringing some good momentum to the end of season. One race is left on the calendar. You've got that win. It's now less pressure on your shoulders to deliver. You know you can do it. What's it going to take to bring those lessons forth?
That's a good question. I honestly don't know. I guess I'll just practice more. I don't know. Yeah.
For our first trip to Legacy, Texas in the Gen 6 cars, another newcomer rises to the top of the board. Joshua Sim, winning from 16th on the grid, mind you, is also our hardest charger. Joshua, any final comments you'd like to send out or any shout-outs you'd like to give?
Shout out to Swamp Motorsports, Ryan Potter Motorsports for my amazing car tonight. Yeah, I mean, it was a good night. So, thank you.
And the most successful night for the 51 team this season, Joshua Sim wins from Texas. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
With Joshua Sim on the way, maybe most important for the championship race is not your winning man overall, but the driver who finished in second. It wasn't a checkered flag today, Scott, but given where you finished compared to your championship rival, this performance is big. It's going to be a head-to-head fight between you and Lodato for the championship next week, and it looks like tonight the work paid off.
Yeah, I'm honestly a little disappointed. I feel like I've really had a good chance to win, and just I needed like 3 more laps of tire, or Chad battled me pretty good for a second there. If I would have just gotten by him in 1 lap, I might have had a good shot. But I mean, yeah, it's really unfortunate that Lucas had some issues tonight. But I'm hoping that it brings us really close together in the championship standings. I know he had like a 30-point lead still, so still gonna have to have almost a perfect week next week. And man, it's just I really needed those bonus points tonight for a win.
Now, 9/10 of a second between you and Joshua Sim, completely different strategy routes to get there. You went for the multi-stop route, and it seems like most other drivers chose that way. What led you to that call, even though the one-stopper looked possible?
Honestly, when Hampton pitted under that caution, and he just took off in front of everybody, I kind of got mired back in traffic, and I kind of just was hoping that if I would pit, I would just be in clean air instead of being stuck in traffic, and it ended up working out in my favor. I think that was the best strategy for me. My tires just really fell off a cliff there at the end of the race. Probably needed to stay out, maybe 2 or 3 more laps before pitting under that last pit stop. But yeah, the multi stop I think was the way that I had to run this race.
Nevertheless, just off of victory lane, you mentioned the bonus points might have been the differentiator for you today, but you still clearly outperformed your main title rival in Lucas Lodato. One more night. That's all it comes down to here. What's it going to take to set up? The second half of the season has been remarkable, of course, stretching your all-time winning record. There's, of course, one more night to make it happen.
Yeah, it's going to take perfection. I mean, Lucas has been the driver all season. Tonight was clearly a fluke night. I don't know if he got involved in that first caution or what, but going to need to qualify up front. Going to need to lead at least 1 lap, probably lead the most laps and win the race. To be honest with you, because he's just been that fast this year compared to everybody else. So we're just gonna put our head down and we're gonna give it our all next week. And if we have a pool of tracks, I think there's 4 of them. There's 2 of them that I favor a lot more than the other 2, but we'll see what happens. I think the wheel is gonna determine, or it's gonna have a big factor in determining who wins the championship.
It comes down to what's ahead of us, but so far, Scott Zellner has been reeling in championship leader Lodato, and a second-place performance like this makes the gap even tighter. Any final comments you'd like to leave us with, Scott? The floor is yours.
Yeah, congrats to Josh on winning tonight. Clearly had the perfect strategy. It was really well done. I thought I had a chance and just lost it there at the end. Thanks to all my teammates at Four Horsemen Racing, and thanks for Westlake Royal Building Products for sponsoring this league. Thank you to Adam for keeping this league afloat. And shout out to my family that watches each and every week. And hopefully we put on a good show on FTN next week for the finale.
Scott Zellner, right where it started, second to second, over 125 laps from Fort Worth. Thank you again for stopping by.
Thanks, David.
And with one more driver on a podium, Alan Cummin does have a win this season, but we mentioned he's been a part-timer for Blacktop Racing. He shows up whenever he'd like to, and it looks like today, well, Old Texas just proved to be too enticing not to miss. Starting 5th, finishing in 3rd, it was a very strong day for the 8 crew, leading some laps as well while you were at it, Alan. Alan Cummin, we got a copy? Checking one more time, number 8 team. And it appears we're getting a message sent to us from the 8 crew right now, and we're looking, trying to figure it out. Saying to bring him back in. Alan, you got us?
Yeah, you got me now?
There we go. Strong race, that was for certain. 5th to 3rd, leading some laps in between. Seems like tonight the number 8 car really gelled with the track.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's good to talk to you again. It's been a while. First race back here with these guys, and I don't even know, probably 2 months. But yeah, the race was fun. Track was really racy. Car was really good. Couldn't ask for anything better than to win the race, I guess.
And it appears tonight, yes, victory was close, but it was just all about strategic calls. Now, talking about your strategy today, I'd have to ask Alan, what did it take to get you to the point you were at, running with the 2-stop strategy, which most others chose to do?
Yeah, I think it's just tires were so important. I know some guys started pitting early, I think around lap 40 or maybe before. And I was like, no, I feel like that's too early, and I'm going to wait a little bit because I knew tires were so important. I thought it was going to work out, but that second round of pit stops, I don't know. I guess I should have pitted about 5 or 6 laps earlier. Probably would have played a little better in my favor there if I had done that.
And maybe the difference maker, just a few laps. Track conditions today, it was warm all around. Now, we've been to Old Texas a few times, and I figure since you came out to race today, you prefer the old to the new. Can you talk us through maybe any differences the fans might not know of?
Yeah, well, I was planning on racing tonight anyway. My my life finally got back on track, so to say. But yeah, once I saw it was Old Texas, I was really excited for that. I do not like New Texas. But yeah, I mean, I guess really the biggest difference between the two is just the way they reconfigured turn 1 and 2 with New Texas. I just have never been able to figure it out. I like Old Texas a lot better. So I'm glad to come back and have a good run, podium finish at least.
Now, one more race remains, maybe one final opportunity for a podium or beyond, Alan. You think you'll be with us for it?
I plan on it. Yeah. Like I said, life is getting back to normal now. So as of right now, I plan on being there. But we'll see come next Thursday night.
Alan Cum in 3rd place on the day here from Texas, returning strong and keeping the rest of the field on its toes. Now, anything else you'd like to leave us with, Alan? We'd love to hear.
Just like always, appreciate you putting it on, pulling us up here after the race and chit-chatting with us. Appreciate the guys coming out. Good, clean racing, hard racing too. I do want to give a shout out to Dawson. We raced really good tonight. But yeah, once we got those couple of cautions out of the way early in the race, it was good. So hopefully we can do it again next week. I don't know what type of track we're at next week, but we'll find out. And yeah, just look for another good race next week.
One final shot, but the 8 crew proves again strong in these limited appearances. Final step of the podium today for you, Alan. Thank you for your time.
All right, man. Thanks.
With Alan Cunman on the move, you've heard from your top 3 finishers. Cunman, of course, getting 3rd. Scott Zellner for 2nd. And last of which, well, the first on the racetrack. That is Joshua Sim. Sim wins his first career event, and now Scott Zellner goes in toe-to-toe with Lucas Lodato to our season finale next week. Make sure to stay tuned May 27th at 9:30 p.m. Eastern to figure out what is going on with the championship race. We only have one more event left, and it will be settled next Thursday night. Until then, thank you for tuning in live on FTN Broadcasting to coverage from the virtual Texas Motor Speedway. For the Westlake Royal Building Products Premier Series, I've been your host, David Kreutz, commentating and producing. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Your support is always thoroughly appreciated. Congratulations to Joshua Sim on collecting his first career Highline Racing League win. We hope you have a fantastic night.